Right, welcome everybody to Tom and Amy's Paranormal Mysteries podcast. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Indigo Seeress, all the way from America.
Yeah.
So whereabouts in America are you, Indigo?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. So
Yeah.
is that East Coast?
Don't ask me.
No, that's Midwest.
Midwest. I haven't got a clue. Yeah, so you are a psychic medium slash astrologist. Is that right?
Psychic medium, paranormal investigator. I wouldn't claim that I am an astrologist. I've dabbled in it, but I'm not very knowledgeable in all of the conjunctions and planets and all that stuff. So
it's a big topic.
Yeah,
it's a huge topic, you know.
We've tried. Well, I've read about it and I've tried to get my head around it, and it's so complicated. You probably know a lot more than us.
Yeah.
So when obviously being a psychic, when did you first realize you had the gift as such, to be able to read things?
I would have to say that it probably started when I was younger, and I encompassed it more as being an empath, where you're able to pick up on other people's energies. My friends growing up found it really annoying because I'd be like, "What's wrong?" And they'll be like, "Oh, nothing." I'll be like, "No, what's wrong?" They'll be like, "Oh, no, nothing." I'm like, "I know something's wrong. Tell me something's wrong." They'll be like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah." And they're like, "How do you know this?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just do."
Incredible.
Yeah. And then as growing up, I definitely dabbled into different areas of spirituality, like astrology and all that kind of stuff. It was hard for me in the beginning just because my parents were very much Christian based. So they looked at a lot of that stuff, and I didn't have any training or mentors or anything. But as I got older, I started taking some classes and that's when I really started to realize that I naturally had this gift as being a psychic. And then I took this other class that focused on psychic mediumship. And there was one in class kind of, what do I say? Project or whatever you want to say. And they had put the initials on the board of an individual, and they said, "Okay, connect and see what you can get." Right. And so we did. And I instantly started to feel queasy, and the room was spinning. I'm like, "Okay, oh my gosh, stop spinning." And then I was starting to get some of this stuff. And then they said, if you were able to get stuff from this, you are not only a psychic, but you are also a medium then, because not all psychic, because everybody can be a little bit psychic, right? You have your intuition, and all that, but not everybody is a medium. So that in that very moment was when I realized that I'm a medium as well. And that was probably maybe about 10 years ago or so. Yeah.
Does that get, so obviously once then, does it then, those abilities, do they get stronger as you get older, or?
I guess I view it as like a muscle, right? You can't go to the gym and just start bench pressing 175 pounds. You got to start with a smaller one, right? Yeah. So again, it's just the same thing. When you use your psychic or medium muscles, the more you use them, the stronger that they'll get. And that's something that I have definitely been focusing on probably over the last 3 years or so, because I went on my first paranormal investigation. And I was really nervous because I pulled them aside, and it was me coming out of the psychic medium closet. I'm like, I'm a psychic medium. Here's an idea for me for going into this paranormal investigation. And it was just me diving off the edge of the dock. And it was crazy, all of the stuff that I was getting and I learned so much. And I was like, I want to be able to pick on the different subtle energies, like what is the energy of the room, what is the energy of the place, and energy of an object, and energy of a spirit versus, there's just so many different layers of it that I wanted to dive in. And so I've been, I found a couple mentors and a couple classes to take to kind of help me fine tune some of those skills.
Oh, okay. So that's leads me on to my other question. I was going to ask you about say for ourselves, we're not psychic by any means, but is that something we could develop or improve on?
Yeah, definitely. They have they call them the different clairs, like claircognizant. I'm sure maybe you guys have maybe heard of them, clairvoyance and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I think the biggest thing for most people is just trusting it. You say that you're not psychic, but you probably are on some level. It's a level of intuition in that. A common example is you start thinking of oh, this would be really cool if this happened, or I haven't heard from this person from such a long time, and then they end up calling you or connecting with you. type of thing, right?
I actually think I'm a lot more than you in terms of knowing
when something's going to happen.
When something's going to happen,
Yeah.
I'll just automatically know it's going to happen, or I'll know the atmosphere in the room has changed, and I know something's there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I have got a slight gift, but it's not something obviously I tap into, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes total sense with that. And then that would be a version of it. And I mean, there's times too, like where I'll have to turn it down, like when I'm at work or something, because I don't want to be picking up on stuff and that, or if I'm at a party or chilling with my friends, it's like I don't want to be picking up on stuff. I just want to have that normal interaction with them. So
so it's something that you can't switch off. Then it's like, or can you, like you say you can turn it down, but it's still there, but you can't completely get rid of it, sort of thing? I
would say so, yeah, because I mean, your subconscious mind is constantly taking in so much different type of everything that's going on, the room, the color, who's around you, and all that kind of stuff. So even if you're turning it off kind of consciously, your subconscious is still noticing that. So then if I wanted to hone in on that and pick it up, I can definitely do that. So
okay.
I just suppose if you don't practice it enough, obviously you'll just lose that skill in a way, but it won't always be completely gone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say that about like knowing when someone's going to contact you, because I've done that a few times, haven't I? When I've gone to message somebody and they've literally just messaged me, and I said, I'm literally just about to message you.
Exactly. See, so that's an example.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same when I obviously contacted you. I ignored him for a year.
Oh, yeah, when we got together.
Oh.
And then I contacted you out of the blue, didn't I? I said, I'm going to contact you. And if I hadn't contacted you at that point, you were about to delete my number, weren't you?
Yeah, that's actually a fair point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I suppose that is. So what would that be for me then? What would that be like, my ability sort of thing? Would it be clairvoyance, or is it?
That would be more of a clair knowing, it sounds like. So that would be like a clair cognizance, I would say.
Okay.
Because clair cognizance is where you just kind of know something, and then even though you don't know why, like you knew to text him at that point in time, even though you didn't really know why, type of thing, right? But here the universe was kind of saying like, hey, he's going to delete your number if you don't contact him, and all that kind of stuff. So that would be, I'd probably say fall in that realm. They kind of very much overlap. The other one is the clairvoyant is more of the seeing one.
Oh, okay.
Yep. There's some people that can like physically see with their eyes. I don't physically see with my eyes. For me, it's more kind of like mental in my head. Like if I tell you to close your eyes and picture like a red apple and describe that to me, and you close your eyes and describe like how big it is, does it have the, all that kind of stuff, you visualize it in your mind. That's how it shows up to me in my head. So sometimes a lot when I'm doing readings, I'll close my eyes, or on investigations, I'll close my eyes just so I can kind of see better, but whatever.
Makes sense then.
What about in terms of feelings? Like you get a certain feeling off of something, because I get that a lot with things.
You get it with objects, don't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, what is the name of it? I know there's a specific, I don't know why it's escaping me right now, but there is a certain term for when you touch objects and get different energies from them. And obviously I think like metal objects can carry more energy than others as well, they say. And as far as for a clear feeling, there is one for that. That's kind of falls in that line of that empath. There is a specific clair for that. I'm not remembering of it at this point in time though here.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So if I wanted to develop my that ability and make it better, because I want to be able to, like, obviously when we go on investigations and stuff and we do things with our dolls, I want to be able to like feel more on that. How could I go about like developing that?
I guess I would have to say the best way to go about developing it is, as cliche as it sounds, is probably do some sort of little meditation and stuff like that too. Okay. I know I always do that before an investigation, just because you can help ground and center yourself, and it gets rid of that excess energy. And really, yourself best, and like what the energy of the room is and what the energy of people is. And you just got to really set that intention of I'm coming in here and just kind of being curious of like, hey, what's here? What is this energy? And if you feel a slight difference of it, then pay attention to that. And the biggest thing is to trust that. I know that is the biggest hurdle for everybody. I know that's personally been one of mine as well, in regards to like trusting what I get and trusting what I feel.
Yeah, no, it's a big thing for me. I don't always trust what I actually get from things.
Yeah, I suppose like you say, that if you don't really think about it and if you're not really trying to, but you tend to just ignore it, and then I suppose that's when you become numb to it. Like as you get older, isn't it? That's when you can start. It gets further away from you, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like you put up some blocks and stuff like that, or again, you're not working that muscle, or you've told yourself that stories throughout your entire life of like, oh, that's just coincidence, or there's no way that would happen, or you start telling yourself those kind of negative self-talk type things and talking it away. So then when it comes up, you don't fully believe it. So it's about changing some of that talk along with it.
So is there a lot of classes then near you then where you can go and obviously look at developing your skill further?
It's had to do some digging, and that luckily I've been able to find a few individuals that live kind of near me. They live further south of Minnesota than me, but they've been really great mentors as far as for helping me figure out the slight different energies of things. And the biggest thing has been trusting what I get, because the biggest thing that I found for myself in developing is, like I said, when I get an image, right? Like if I get an image of like some rolling hills or something like that, let's say, and it's like green or something like that. And do I tell the person I'm reading for that exact image, or what does that image represent? Does that maybe represent like peace and calm or freedom, or, so it's difficult. That's something I'm still kind of working out depending on the person. And again, that's trusting your intuition of, do I give this image as is to this person, or is there a way to interpret this for them? And so that's kind of the more kind of difficult thing that I'm kind of at right now.
Which I suppose goes hand in hand with tarot reading, because obviously that you can go in a lot more depth about a card, for instance.
Yeah. It's how you look at it, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's where I will like pull some cards if I'm not too sure, or I want some clarification on it. And then I pull out some cards, either some tarot cards or oracle cards, and then I can get some clarification on like, oh, okay, so the rolling hills do mean about getting away and having some freedom or different things like that, not specifically about a specific place,
Yeah. Oh, okay. So your other side is paranormal investigating. So like what I would say, I always ask people, don't I, like, what's your favorite experience? Like,
oh God, I have so many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have so many different, well, because they're all different crazy ones. We went to this place down in Iowa like 5-6 different times. And like I said, each time I went, I wanted to come in and be at a better, higher level than what I was at, like try something new and push my limits and all that kind of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, probably the biggest experience I had was probably the last time that we went. And we definitely pushed the boundaries with it. Was we worked with a Ouija board, and we actually did a seance. And I don't typically work with those things just because I have, because with Ouija boards, you don't know who you're interacting with. And there's like all and all that kind of stuff. And then I was leading the seance, and I've never done that before either. And again, there's that nervousness of what can come up, and then, worrying about all my friends and everything like that. Cause they might not know how to fully protect themselves, especially going after a paranormal investigation and that. But another instance that we did was we did a scrying mirror. And I went into this one room. We called it Hank's room. And it's this, from previous investigations, we understood is that he wasn't so nice of a man growing up or when he was there. He was very abusive to this woman that he was with, and actually even like sexually abusive towards towards her daughter, and he actually ended up murdering them. Yeah, it's really sad. So I went in there just to see what I would get, and I had put some crystals outside the doorway and set the intention of kind of setting up a block that only those of higher vibration and love and light can come into the room, right, type of thing. And I started to really connect with the woman in the room. And she showed me, and I'm supposed to be staring into this mirror, right? But all she is like talking to me. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys, talking to the camera. I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys. I know I need to be doing this scrying session, but this woman is talking to me and she will not leave me alone. And so I got her story a little bit more, and she showed me a flashback scene of her, and I instantly like started crying, and that just because of what she showed me. And I let her know, like, if you wanted to cross over, this is your opportunity to do that, because he cannot come in the room right now. And you know what, you did the best that you could when you were alive, and you didn't do anything wrong and all that, like I was reassuring her, and I had her there, and then all of a sudden, poof, it was like she was gone. The energy was gone. The translation just stopped. I was like, did she cross over then? Is that what that feels like? Like, it was just so crazy. It was like completely dead in the room afterwards. And then I tried calling out the little girl, because I'm like, you better cross over too, since mom crossed over as well.
Yeah.
But that was such an amazing experience for me. We've had, and on the Ovulus, I always get healer and witch around me. They always like calling me a healer and a witch. I've used
box last night, didn't we?
Yeah, that's a good point. We got the word witch on our box last night.
Yeah.
No way. Oh my God. See, I
Yeah.
told you. Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't
Yeah,
it?
we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I always get healer and witch around me. I definitely get a lot of stuff. Probably the other cool thing that we did was I was getting one of the first or second times we went there, and that we kept getting like flower, or what was it? Not flower bed or like graveyard or something like that.
Mhm.
No, it was garden. We're in the garden. We're in the garden. We're in the garden. And we figured out, I was like, it's got to be the basement in that. And then one of the second or third times I said, you need to go through this like crawly hole and go around this corner and dig in the ground over there. You're going to find bones. And guess what? They found bones.
No.
So yeah, they sent them off to a university to get testing. I think there is a combination of animal and human. So, but they're trying to figure out more of that stuff. But yeah, so I think that was
That's
definitely a booster for for me to be like, hey, go dig there. There's bones, and then they found bones. So
that must be so rewarding for you, though, like to be able
yeah.
to like solve these things and then put people at rest. Like that lady that you
Mhm.
managed to cross over, that must be so rewarding to actually be able to almost like free her from being trapped.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, prior to like the other previous like five investigations that we went to, she was constantly reaching out. You could tell her, and like even on the spirit box, you could hear Hank, and then you could hear her. Like you could definitely hear like a couple arguing in the background, and
Wow.
that, and so like he was holding them spiritually hostage, almost essentially. So it definitely does feel very. I'm getting chills right now. It definitely does feel very rewarding, and helping those spirits cross over.
Yeah.
It's very similar to the psychic twins. I'm sure you've heard of the psychic twins. They solve a lot of murders out in America. Have you heard of them before?
What was that?
Psychic twins.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. I haven't dived too much into their work or anything like that, but yeah, I have heard of them.
Yeah, they do very similar things.
Because that's like I've always thought that because we go on investigations and you go to all these places and you get some places that are extremely haunted and that, but I suppose if it's haunted, that's not really a good thing, is it? Because I suppose those spirits are trapped and they should be moved on. I suppose would you say that's right or?
Some. I guess when you say that, what comes to my mind is the place that we went to down in Iowa.
Yeah.
I connected with this like old cowboy, like definitely like the typical like Marlboro man, basically type of thing, in the attic. And we were talking to him, and he had a southern drawl. It was cool how I could pick up on the accent too. But he basically said is that some other spirits that we connected with, some of them choose to stay. They don't want to move on. And then there's some that just come there and visit. And I think some paranormal places, they end up generating so much energy because of the spirits there that they end up actually attracting other spirits in there that may not have necessarily been in that place or died in that place as well. And depending on the paranormal place, some places let teams rent them out. I know that I'm very thankful for that. However, some teams go in there, or certain individuals go in there and definitely play or do things that they're not fully aware of what they're doing, and may open up kind of Pandora's box or invite something in that may not necessarily should be there, or open up a portal or different things. And then that just adds on more different layers. So I guess to go back to your original question, is not everybody is trapped here and wanting or not knowing how to get out.
Yeah,
makes sense. What's your thoughts on haunted dolls then, in terms of them being trapped, or they're just?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I haven't really dived too much into about haunted dolls. I mean, I guess when you first say that, the first thing that comes to my mind is either they chose and asked to go into a doll, or maybe they were afraid to move on, and so they went into that object type of thing. Or maybe somebody forced them to go into that type of doll, and it's kind of maybe like a type of curse or something like that.
Yeah, I suppose that makes a lot of sense, and especially like our dolls, and what you touched on there about like when you do these investigations, some people don't realize like what they're doing and the implications. And this is what we always try and say to people, like, because we go on Instagram and stuff, and we show pictures of all our dolls that we collect and that, and we try and really amplify the fact that it's not a game, and we're not doing this as fun. It's
to get their story told. And
we're trying to tell their stories, and
if we're able to help them move on, then obviously that's great as well. But obviously, if they choose to not move on, then that's
which is fair. If they want to stay, we're not going to force them to move on. That's their choice. But we've said before we even started getting them, didn't we, that we understand that bringing them into our house, anything can happen, and I think you've got to accept that you have no control almost what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you can put up, I suppose you can put up, like, you can do your protection, you can put up boundaries and stuff, but I suppose it's down to the dolls, isn't it, that if whatever's in it, if they want to do something, they're going to do it.
Well, it goes to the experience that I had not long ago with the sleep paralysis.
Yeah, you had quite a bad experience.
I did, yeah, but like I say, when you bring these kind of things into your house, it's going to happen.
Yeah, which we've always said we're happy for that, as long as they don't physically harm us or physically harm we've got 2 dogs. As long as they don't physically harm the dogs neither, then we're happy for them to do whatever they want. Like it's their home.
Open cupboard doors, mimic voices. I don't mind that.
Once we get it on camera, then we're happy.
Yeah, definitely. It's always off cam. When the camera's off is when they start doing stuff, right? Like it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, exactly. What was it last night? Literally last night, turned the camera off, and our Mel meter that we have started spiking, and I was like, I've literally just turned the camera off. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but it was the same with the chocolate. You laid the chocolate out on a piece of paper, you drew around it, and then you left it alone for like an hour, and then you came back and it would be lifted up and the chocolate had moved.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember hearing about that, I think, on your last podcast or one of your other posts.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I couldn't believe it, because I just put them on there, didn't I? I was at home one day and I thought, I'll just try this, see what happens. So I just put those chocolate coins you get at Christmas, put them on a bit of paper, drew around them. And I thought, I've completely forgot. And I was putting washing away or something. And I just turned around and looked, and they'd moved. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God.
You didn't turn on a video camera, did you?
But then I suppose if I had done, it probably wouldn't have happened, I suppose. It's one of those, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely hit and miss with that type of stuff. I know that there was like a doll at the place that we went as well, and there were sayings that the doll would move or go to different rooms and stuff. And of course, we had like a camera directly on it or in the room, and it didn't move once the entire investigation. And it's like, oh, come on, And then we put it back in the box, and as we're packing up to leave and making sure that we got everything back, the doll had like moved in the box. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, really? Like,
never gonna do it on camera. That's just normal. Like constantly was.
It's just they're just being mischievous because they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I think it's as well. If they did it all the time, then it'd become normality, wouldn't it? And it wouldn't be that mystery of it anymore. Because I think almost we're not supposed to know.
It comes across like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And
it'll almost be like a surprise, and obviously when you pass, there is an afterlife.
It's like every time. That's why when we do our videos of our dolls, like of investigations, we always like to just leave them alone for like 20 minutes when we finished. And still filming just to see what they do afterwards, and we find we get almost more stuff when we're not there. It's almost like they become relaxed and they start doing things, isn't it?
Well, they're still getting used to us at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. Now, so tarot reading. we obviously you are obviously an expert, I would say, in tarot reading compared to us. We haven't got a clue, have we?
We've got tarot cards, but yeah, we
Yeah.
just read books.
So, did you like teach yourself tarot reading, or did you get someone like to help you, or do?
When I first started with tarot, I got a deck back like when I was in high school and I just do readings for my friends, and we'd obviously refer to the booklet that it came with.
Yeah.
And then I had taken a couple classes, and then since then, how I read tarot now is I have a lot of the basic understanding of what the cards mean, but I read off of a lot of my intuition as well, though. So like with my card deck, I'll be reading and I'll be like, oh, I never noticed this before. This is this number on this. This is what that means. Or there'll be 3 raindrops. So like, oh, you've been mourning something, so I look more at the pictures in that. I don't have the like really traditional type of deck. It has some stuff added into it. So I'll definitely go off of, it's kind of morphed into basic tarot knowledge and then using my intuition on top of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just read the book that comes with them.
Yeah, no, and that's perfectly fine. And that's where I started as well, because then the more that you do that, the more that you become familiar with them, or just kind of the basics of knowing like wands are associated with fire and swords are associated with air and, and all those kind of things and the different signs that they are. And once you kind of get a baseline of that knowledge, that can really help you. And then once you start trusting your intuition in that or your psychic abilities, you can incorporate that in there as well. But there are very traditional tarot readers out there that know the ins and outs of all the cards and positions and all that kind of stuff. But I have enough memory in my, there's enough stuff to memorize.
And would you say as well that it's not you that picks the tarot cards, it's the tarot cards that pick you when you actually go to buy them?
I would definitely agree with that, because there's been decks that I buy because the tarot deck that I'm trying to think. I would well, I know, because it was like I was like, well, but there's this scenario. Okay, I'm overthinking in my head and not talking. Is when I'm like scrolling and I'm looking through different decks and stuff like that, is there's certain decks where I'll look at the cards. I really like looking at what are the cards within the deck, right? Because do I feel a natural ability to be able to read them? And then there are decks that I'm like, oh, this deck is really beautiful and I think I can connect with it. And then I get it home and it's like, can't even, it's like I have to refer to the book so much, and it's like it doesn't come naturally to me. Whereas a few other decks, it just I've rarely had to look at the book just because of how well me and the cards connect. So
because we bought our own decks, didn't we?
Yeah, I looked on Amazon, because Amazon's got like loads of different types of decks, and these are the ones that I was drawn to.
Okay.
And the males are represented as animals and the females are represented as beautiful goddesses almost. But my original ones that I had when I was a lot younger was these ones I was drawn to, fairy cards.
Okay. Yeah.
And these are kind of like the traditional tarot cards almost.
Small ones, and
small ones. And then when you bought yours, you were drawn to the dark side.
Yeah, what I would say was we are like yin and yang. Like she does the lighter side of things.
Airy fairy.
Unfortunately, I'm drawn more into these ones, the occult.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say like goth and vampire tarot.
Yeah. So these ones have got pictures of demons all over them and stuff like that.
Okay.
Could I use these for like normal tarot reading, would you say? Because I mean, it has a guide to them, but the guide to them that's online, it's basically about talking to demons, and I kind of don't want to go down that path, but I want to be able to just do normal readings for like like for future events, or just reading for myself, what have I got coming up. Is that possible with them, or do you think I should really not dabble in that?
No, I definitely think that you can. I guess, does it still have like the traditional, even though it's like might be tied to a demon, is there still like, like the 3 of Swords or 3 of Wands in there? Or do they have it like totally different?
I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look.
At the top.
Oh yes, this is 5 of Wands. So they're like
Okay. Yeah.
So they're like that.
Okay. Yeah. No, you could definitely still read that, because even you might have to like refer to a different kind of tarot or online or different things like that too, just to kind of build up your basic understanding, right? Of like, what would the 5 of Wands mean, type of thing,
Right.
you know? And do you want to read reversals or not? Because some tarot readers do, some don't. Okay. So when you start using your deck, kind of set that intention of, do you want to read reversals or not? And then you can go off of, it looks like that had a little description on there too. So
Yeah,
you can kind of go off of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it describes like the demon and what it can do. It's abilities. So like this one is.
There's even one called Amy, surprisingly.
Yeah, it says Baal. So it says it's the Emperor, number 1. It says controls the weather, rain and lightning, cures or causes pestilence. Now, I suppose I could interpret that in a certain way, I suppose, or.
Correct. Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying is the demons then that they refer to are associated with, you could definitely pull from their descriptions or what are their characteristics type of thing into the reading. So if you were reading that for somebody, you could be like, okay, well, either the situation or the person they're dealing with, or for them, however you're reading it, you can pull from those characteristics. And side note, ironically, that is a name that would definitely come up a lot at the place down in Iowa. Just a little fun fact.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. See?
And out of all the cards, that's the one that you read. So just saying.
That's crazy.
This is crazy. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So say I want to, I don't know if I want to know like what's my future for the next month or something, is there a certain layout you'd do, or could you just literally pull a card out, or is it more in depth sort of thing you've got to learn?
There is different styles.
Yeah, there's totally different styles. There's people that have certain very specific layouts that they'll do. You know, the cross, the Celtic cross is the very much common one that people will use, like where are you at, what's crossing you, what's coming, all that kind of stuff. And then there's certain people, or they'll kind of make up their own, like, oh, this will be for this week. This will be for this week. This will be, you know, so you can actually write your own type of layout. Again, you just set that intention of what you want the card that you pull up to mean for. Yeah. For me personally, like if you were asking me that question, I would see what I would kind of get psychically first. And if I'm not getting a whole lot, or I want to get some clarification, I'll pull out some cards. And I just kind of, again, go with my intuition. I'll kind of maybe pull out some tarot cards and some oracle cards. And, you know, maybe they probably average about 4 or 5 in a line. And I find that they tell a story of kind of like where you're at right now and where you're kind of heading to, and what are the options that you might be coming up on, or what is blocking you and what do you need to kind of work on to get through that.
Oh, okay.
So the way I do it is I'll do like past, present, future. And if someone's asking a particular question, I'll go through the cards and then I'll know when I need to stop, or if a card comes out almost, I know it needs to be it. And then I'll pick the top card and I'll also pick the bottom card, because sometimes they'll reference the question.
So I suppose then it can be like interpreted in your own way, sort of like personal to you. Then you could almost, there's no like set way of this is how it has to be done sort of thing.
Correct. Yes. I mean, there's, like I said, there's very traditional tarot readers out there in that, but I fully believe that, you know, when you work with a deck, the more you work with it and you get familiar with it, and at least as long as you're consistent with your routine and what feels good with you, you'll build that relationship with your deck and, you know, your higher power and your higher consciousness and or the universe, whatever word you want to use. And the more that you'll be able to be comfortable to receive those messages from that deck.
Oh, okay. I have to give it a go.
Maybe it'd be best for you to look at the traditional way of setting it out.
Yeah, because I know they say with the one it came with, it's like a download one, but it's basically, they use them I've read through it briefly, it's really long, and it basically said about it's to talk to a certain demon.
Okay.
And it's like a ritual thing.
Okay.
I'm tempted, because obviously I want to understand more and learn more. I suppose that's when it's dangerous, because you don't know what you're doing, sort of thing, isn't it? It's like,
playing with fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're dealing with demons or those type of energies.
Mm.
You know, like I've come I don't I want to say I've come across some. I I've asked my mentors and stuff like that, and there's one that's like, oh, I just don't acknowledge them, you know, type of thing. And it's like, well, I think you should acknowledge them because they are there, you know, type
Yeah.
of thing,
Yeah.
or they're at least a stronger energy. And then, you know, I've also had people say like, oh, well, you would know when you feel that energy. But then again, too, demons are tricksters, though, you know. And then I think back to some of the other different paranormal or rooms that we'd investigate, and there's this one that was pulling us very strongly in there, and we really connected and, you know, kind of got their story. And then later we did a Ouija board session in there, and it was I had never heard of it because I didn't, but the yaya thing kept coming up. Have you heard of that coming up for?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wouldn't let us leave or I'm getting chills again now. And it wouldn't let us leave or anything like that. And so then I was thinking back to that. I was like, what if this spirit that presented himself as like a really sad, depressed man was a demon, you know, type of thing. And he just wanted us to come in there or something. So
Yeah, I suppose they say you don't know, innit?
Well, no, you did say some of these demons as well cards. They're for good as well.
Yeah, what
Mhm.
I to believe it. Yeah, they have like a good and bad side.
correct.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's people out there that do work with them and that, you know, are able to have that relationship with them. But again, I think if you were to start doing that again, you'd really want to be prepared, right? Obviously know what you're getting yourself into. What are you going to ask that from that spirit or demon, and what may or may not they ask for in return? How are you going to protect yourself and all that kind of stuff too?
right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't dabble in any of that. Like I say, I'm the airy fairy. I like all the nicey. Because on my mum's side of the family, is very much witches, healers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very much
In your ancestors, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very much on the lighter side, should we say,
Mm-hmm.
rather than
I suppose
dark.
that's what's. I mean, in my belief, that's what drew us together, because we are yin and yang. We are
Yeah.
total opposites, but then all goes full circle, doesn't it? Is what? What's that look for? Anyway, let me finish staring at that. So, would you like to do a couple of readings?
Sure. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
So obviously this is what you do. If people are listening or on watching this, Indigo does do readings. I believe you do it for your Facebook page, don't you? People can request things.
Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we want to.
I don't want to go about it.
Yeah. Do you want to read one of us, or do you want to start with a doll, or?
Whichever you want. That's fine.
Go with us first.
All right, go on then.
Go with us first. Go with him first.
Oh, yeah, I go first. So do I need to have like a question for you, or?
You can have a specific question, or if you want me to just kind of focus on one specific area, you know, common ones are career, relationships, health, well, sometimes health, although, or you can just be like, let's see what kind of comes up, type of thing.
Yeah, I've got my health one. You know, but I don't really want to know.
It's not always good to ask about health.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I was like, sometimes health comes up, but I know readers don't really always like doing health stuff, because then you're kind of all that stuff with medical and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Some people get silly and they start saying things like, oh, when am I going to die?
Yeah,
and you're like, no.
Yeah, it's basically the backstory is of like my mum, she has Alzheimer's, and we've always said like I could have it and stuff, but then, and like you say, I could ask about it, but then I don't really want to know. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I can't stop that. But we'll go for a general one. I mean, what in general, like, would you read?
Okay. I guess like when I first tune in, it's like I'm seeing, it's actually really a beautiful picture. It's very calming. It's like I see the blue sky and like green. I see like the green of the it's not really a past year. That doesn't feel like the right word, but I definitely see like green. It's like a happier time, a happier memory that you have. Um, I'm getting a sense of like an animal. I want to say a horse for some reason, or a bigger animal. Um, it's like color black. I don't know why. I don't know if that's resonating at all. Maybe there's a animal of yours that's trying to come through to say something.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, like, say my when I lived at home back in Saxelby, like it was the village, like well, it's obviously the fields and that is my, like I say, I suppose you could say my happier time. Like
Mm-hmm.
we had like our pets and that, and we had a dog, a black lab called Jack.
Okay.
But we didn't have him long, and to be honest, I only have like one memory of him.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely say then that like he's coming forward, or they're reminding you of, okay. They are wanting you to remember the happier times when you are going through darker times in your mind.
That's okay. Yeah.
So if you are like, I get the sense that maybe there's been some things coming up in your mind that you have been, the word, kind of sabotaging yourself in some ways, or getting down on yourself in some ways, or you feel like you're not at the same spot or at the spot where you envisioned yourself at. And so you're kind of over criticizing yourself in some aspects of things. And so they're saying to definitely reflect back on those brighter, happier times to get you through these darker times and just kind of keep moving forward.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, because I suppose I am a very much a like a battler in my own mind. I'm very much, like say, self-criticizing. Very much so. That's cool. That's really
nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It made me think a lot. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
So Amy, if you want.
Yeah, we'll go general.
We'll go general. I know. I like going general too, just because you never know what they will bring up. And sometimes even when you ask a question, they're going to tell you what you need to know anyway. So yeah. I find. All right. Hold on. I got to get rid of your energy now. Okay. So slow down. There's like two things that are kind of coming up. The first thing that comes up to my mind is, for some reason, it's like, when I connected with your energy, Amy, is that it's like I saw pink hair. I don't know why, but it was just kind of like more pink and just like kind of like ha ha ha, and like I don't know, like the top of my head is being tingly right now. I don't know why. And so, but even though like there is that happy kind of almost like a fairy-like type of energy that's obviously being very much prominently shown to me, there was a brief slight second that I felt that there was some pain or something in your like heart chakra, your heart space. And so to me, with that is showing me is that there's something within your heart space or something that happened to you. I hear like when you were a child that you haven't really fully gone through or worked through, and you've focused on more of that happier, lighter type of stuff to kind of mask it or to push it down. And it's a way for you, that's a natural coping mechanism for a lot of people, right? But the reason why they would probably show that to me is just to bring that to your awareness. And it's something for you to work through, especially if you do say that you kind of want to work on your psychic and psychic skills a little bit more. It's the best way to do that is to kind of start going through and unpacking some of your own internal baggage type of thing, right? And getting yourself to that higher vibration. Because when you hold on to things like that, especially like childhood traumas or childhood different things like that, it's a way to kind of keep your vibrational level a little bit lower, right? Or let's say you're doing a reading for somebody and that kind of stuff kind of comes up, and then maybe your ego gets in the way, because then it's almost like you're trying to give advice to yourself or or it's the person opposite of you, and you start giving them other advice of like whatever it is that you wanted to tell them back in that day, type of thing, right? So it's a way for you to not have any kind of transference as well.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with traumatic semantic disorder in the past, and I suffered a lot through schooling, battling, basically trying to get on with my education. I was very much bullied all the way through my schooling as well, and I suppose in a coping mechanism, I kind of just blocked that in a way. But there is other things in my past as well. Obviously, that I'm not going to air on
No,
here.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's why when they were starting to go that route, I'm like, this is what they're giving me. But I know, yeah, obviously a lot of the times, and that's what I find in my readings is it gets to the heart of things and gets to the core of things and kind of what you need to work on or what you need to look at type of thing in order to get to the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good.
Yeah, it makes
food for thought, don't it?
Yeah, it makes sense of how I feel at the moment anyway, with my emotions and stress and that at the moment.
Yeah. I do think, like you say, with like obviously your disorder, and that is something that you need to not let
And
it
I
bother
used to
you.
have pink hair as well.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh, no way. Oh my God. That's so cool. Thanks.
I always change.
She's always dying at pink or purple. Or
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks for the validation.
That's incredible. Thank you for that. That's really like like food for thought, really. I think. I mean, that's certainly made me think a lot. Like, myself, sort of thing. I mean, and it links in. We had another medium on it on, what's his name, Drew.
Yeah.
He does it on Facebook. He does like a live thing. You ask him to do a reading, and he read me, and he almost said virtually the same things you said.
Wow. Okay.
So I suppose that if both of you are picking up the same thing, it's something I certainly need to.
And he did a reading for me, and he
brought
up very much similar things to what you're saying as well. And I brought up my grandma as well on there. And
I suppose that's things we should work on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good thing, though. I mean, it's a positive, isn't it? So the doll that we have.
Okay.
For people who can't see this or listen to it on Spotify, if you look on our Instagram, we have one doll on there. It's this little guy. He's a China doll. He's got a black hat, and he's wearing like a white like circus outfit.
It's a Harlequin.
Yeah, so he's a Harlequin doll. So I'll let you do what you got to do for the moment.
Okay. I'm just going to start talking. So it's like when I first connect or see it or you showed me it, I definitely got an image of more of like a male spirit, definitely of the Chinese or that Eastern. And it's like his face is like super round. And he's got like a mustache type of thing. And it almost, the word like samurai came to my mind as well. Was he a samurai? Was he studying or okay, and they're like, it's like now I see like those hats that they sometimes have, like, you know, like in the pictures when they show them like in the rice paddies or different things, like that straw type of hat. Like I see that. And it's almost like I definitely see him working. I don't think it's the rice paddies things, but like I see him with some type of like gardening tool or something like that, and he's working. I hear I wasn't happy. Okay, just give what you get and trust, right? I hear that like she put me in there, and it was almost like some type of transaction that went how he agreed to something, and the transaction didn't happen how it was supposed to happen, and he ended up kind of getting screwed in the end, basically, I would say, obviously. It's almost like I get a sense, though, is he's on some level, though, he's comfortable with where he's at, like he's adjusted to it. In the beginning, he was very angry about it, but now at this point in time, it's almost like that radical acceptance type of thing.
Yeah.
Anything else? I ask anything else, and I hear there was a woman. I'm trying to figure out what the woman has to do with it. I hear like she said my love would come to me if I did this. I don't know. I guess that's kind of all I'm kind of getting right now. I can try to get more, but
so could that be like one of the reasons maybe why he's in this doll? Like he's attached to it maybe because of this transaction thing?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the way that I was getting it was like, I don't, because it's interesting that the word samurai came up first, because then I was like, okay, well, was he a samurai or was he training to be a samurai? And then it was like he started to talk about some sort of transaction he had with a woman. And at first, I guess I was thinking, well, maybe it was like she'd get him into like training to be a samurai or something like that, or there was some sort of transaction that she was going to do with him. And obviously it went awry. And she, I want to say like she obviously ended up putting his spirit or something like that into the doll. Like towards the end of there, like I was saying, it was something about the love of a woman. And it's almost like she manipulated him in a way to get him into the doll.
Yeah.
So
like,
would you say he's a negative spirit?
I didn't get a sense of a negativity from it on it. And from the slight little story that he was obviously telling, is it sounds like it's almost like that unrequited love type of thing, or he was trying to better himself and he just happened to make friends with the wrong person that ended up manipulating him. And like I said, in the beginning, he was angry about it because obviously he realized afterwards. And so who knows how he was in the beginning, those first few years, but now it's just kind of like he's kind of accepted with where he's at and he's fine with it. That's the sense that I kind of got.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It certainly gives him, we can, maybe next time we'll do a vigil on him, we can ask him some of those questions, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the sense that I get from him is he's negative, and I feel like he's the one that affected me in the house.
Okay.
Now, I don't know whether you can work out maybe what did affect me in the house. I had a really bad like sleep paralysis, shadow person really tried to invade me and all like really hurt my head.
The other week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. As I say that, it's like, yeah, I definitely see when you're talking about it, it's like I definitely see like this dark smog or like fog type of thing, like definitely kind of like creepily reaching out for you, right? And then okay, so then what is it or what are you attached to? It's like they're being really gamey with this. I only see the shoes. It's like white shoes. Like definitely a girl one. Oh God. This is when I wish I could draw. There's definitely like a white shoe, and it's almost like it the top of it like folds over, and like maybe there's like little pearl buttons or something like that on it, I want to say, on the shoe.
Okay, yeah. We've got dolls. I've got that.
It's
not it's like a button on their shoes, but we've got ones with white shoes.
Yeah, it's like a white shoe, and then it like kind of like folds, like, you know, here's the shoe, and then it like folds over, and then there's like, it almost like shows like it's a, oh gosh,
like a clasp sort of thing.
Yeah, clasp. So, never mind, I can't draw it. I'm not even gonna try. But yeah, it folds over, and there's like pearl or something on there, and they're white.
Do you see a color of the dress maybe at the bottom?
I know we're asking a lot. We do apologize.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. The first thing that I kind of see is more of like, see, now this is where I'm kind of trying to, it's like I'm seeing a burgundy red color, but then again too.
Right, I'm gonna go and get the doll.
Okay.
Back in a minute.
You know which one that is?
Yeah.
Oh God. I don't know which film she's getting. I can't remember. So does this, like, when you do these readings, do they like is it very taxing for you? Does it like wear you out sort of thing?
No, not really. So like if after this, if I had to go do some more readings, that's fine. What I find very taxing for me is like when I'm doing a paranormal investigation and I'm on for like a good 3 hours, like at that high
Yeah.
level. Like when I did the seance that first time, I think, we did it for several hours. And once we turned off the cameras and stuff like that, there was a shot of me and I just looked so drained and so pale. And I was just like that, like, so it takes a lot to get me drained now, I would say.
Yeah.
Again, it's a muscle. The more you use it, the better that you can get.
Yeah.
All right.
The white shoes, the pearl on the side of the
Oh
shoe,
my God.
and the
Okay.
burgundy dress.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said that one. What did I say? I told you I've got negative. I get a really strong negative vibe on
That's
this guy.
incredible.
Really negative.
Yeah.
Like I
So
even hate holding it.
I don't know if you've seen our latest mystery box unboxing video, but we got 4 new dolls, and out of these 4, all we know is one is extremely negative.
Yeah.
One is only like just negative. One's neutral and one's positive. But unfortunately, for some reason, the information's got lost in the post about them, so we don't know yet.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
Interesting.
all we know is like what you've told us, and what we did an investigation with her last night. We've been looking at the video today, and we did get a few bits from her. So
Okay. Concrete.
It's interesting that that's the one you picked up though, because that's the one that Amy does feel the most negativity about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that, yeah, I definitely saw the shoes and then the burgundy, and then that's the one that did the dark fog towards you. So I guess what I would suggest to do is definitely set some boundaries or your intentions of you will not, when I'm sleeping and when I'm in my home, you don't bother me. And it's just, you got to be very matter of fact with that, but be respectful, right?
Yeah.
Just like, don't be getting in my space, like, because they're
boundaries.
Correct. Yeah. So just set those really firm, strong boundaries. And then if you really need to, if you feel like you need that extra protection, you can definitely, I know we all have spirit guides, and we all, at least us ones that have more of those gifts that we develop, is we definitely have like our protector spirit guide. So you can call on upon that individual. Archangel Michael's always a good one. And then I don't know if you have any crystals or something, but obviously like black tourmaline, black obsidian, and all that kind of stuff definitely helps.
Yeah.
Yep. Make sure you cleanse. I get a sense that you need to cleanse and clear that though too.
Okay.
That's interesting, because I've actually thought about doing that. I have never cleansed this, and I've worn it for so long. I actually was thinking about doing that.
Well, obviously you need to. You can definitely, there's many different ways to kind of cleanse crystals. And I mean, you can send them in the windowsill, so then that way the sunlight can kind of charge them in that. If you have like other crystals like selenite or quartz, you can put that near them on that to set that intention of clearing it.
Yeah.
You can make holy water if you wanted to, or if you have like smudge or sage, you can use the smoke of that. Holy water is really easy to make. Again, you set the intention, boil water, put salt in it, you got holy water. So, and then you can just kind of lightly spritz it with that, or put it through lightly through like a candle flame. There's many different ways to cleanse it and clear it, but yeah, you need to cleanse and clear it, I'm sensing. So
wow, that's so crazy, because I actually was I've worked so long. I thought that its ability is probably wearing off, because I've never cleansed it.
Yeah,
it makes so much sense. It's crazy.
It's my final question.
Yes, but we will.
Yeah.
Do you get a sense of why she's doing it, or he's doing it, or?
Bless you, we're putting you under so much pressure.
Honestly, the first thing I hear is it's a game.
Yeah, and to be honest, I get that anyway. I get that kind of.
Yeah.
It's a game, and it's like almost like that, like smile, like it's a game type. It's like really.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills now on the back of my head. Oh my god.
No, when it happened to me,
It's like just messing with you.
It was messing with me, and I think it was almost testing me to see how I would react to it.
They say
which
again.
is when I started imagining white light around me, and I started saying prayer, and then it went gone. It was almost like I put a wall up, and it left me alone, and I've not had anything since.
But I said that to you though, because I said exactly the same thing you said. I said that she's testing you. Whatever it is testing you because I wasn't here.
But it makes me wonder though what the other one was before that, because we didn't have her at the time.
What do you mean?
Remember when I saw the 2 white eyes?
Yeah. So like you say, this is what brings it into reality. Like we're doing these things with the dolls, and we are getting things in. I'm seeing things. You're seeing things. We're starting to get noises. We get whistling in the house.
Wow,
I hear
crazy
upstairs. So it does make it reality that it is real. It does happen. But yes, we are coming to the end of the show. You've probably got a lot more other things to do. Yeah, it's been awesome. Absolutely.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you so much for. So at the end, we always do a couple of these questions. There's nothing serious.
Oh yeah.
They're nothing serious. They're just a couple of questions, general knowledge things.
Oh, great. Okay.
Amy hates them, but I love them.
I'll have geography for 200, please. Right.
So this is called a shot in the dark. So it's literally nobody really knows the answer. It's just a guess.
Okay.
So I'll just do a couple of these. So the first one is, which fast food company has the most outlets in the world? In the world.
It's McDonald's.
It's got to be McDonald's.
I know. I would say McDonald's. Yeah.
It's got to be, hasn't it? I don't know what you got out there, but
because they're like everywhere.
Well, the answer is Subway, actually, which has 45,000 restaurants in total, ahead of McDonald's.
That's surprising.
Wow.
McDonald's, Starbucks, and KFC in second.
So I wouldn't have imagined that, because I think like McDonald's is a lot more popular than Subway. I think.
Other folks, especially out in America, McDonald's is everywhere, isn't it? Like.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, and I remember watching different documentaries or different even movies and stuff like that when they're featured in different countries or towns, and there's always, you know, some of them have a McDonald's in there. Like I remember seeing one in like Tokyo or something, and you know, it's just crazy.
So learn something new every day. There's 2 more. How many tourists visited France in 2018?
How many tourists visited France in 2018?
So obviously pre-COVID and all that.
Yeah, obviously.
Geez, it's got to be millions, surely.
I don't know. Is France a popular place to go?
Yeah. Well, we've been once, haven't we?
We've been once, but I wouldn't go again.
I wouldn't go. It wasn't that memorable.
Nothing against people in France. I like the Eiffel Tower though, but you know.
I'm gonna say something crazy like 10 million.
Okay, I'm gonna work down from that then.
What are you gonna say?
I'll say like 6 million.
Oh, I was definitely picking up. There's a 6 in there. I don't. This is probably a really low number, but I'm thinking like 619,000 or something. I don't know.
Very precise that one.
Oh bloody hell! We're all well off. Jesus.
Okay.
90 million tourists.
90 million? Oh my god!
It's the most visited country in the world, apparently.
Well, I'm completely wrong then.
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
Some people like it more than we do.
Yeah, but
I guess.
That was in 2018, though. I suppose it's the city of love, isn't it? So
as I was just thinking, I'm sure a lot of people probably feed into that stereotype of, oh, let's go to France and get engaged at the Eiffel Tower, and then they also have Venice and all that kind. Wait, right? No, I don't. No, Venice. That's Italy. My bad.
That's Italy. Yeah.
Never mind.
You wanted geography.
Right, so go last one before we finish up.
Make it a nice one.
I don't even know the answer to this. So it says, why are automated voices usually women's voices?
Because we're nice.
Like self-service checkouts, automated phone systems, and sat navs. Why are they always women's voices?
Because we're nicer to listen to.
Yeah, some about the pitch probably, because we have a higher pitch. So maybe people can hear it better.
It's like hearing me droning on a sat nav or something. It's not gonna be the. Have a look. It says studies suggest that people generally find female voices more pleasing, and that both men and women rate female voices as being more trustworthy. Oh, I don't know about that.
I'm biased.
Yeah, right.
I suppose. I mean,
2 to 1 here, yeah. So
yeah, I just don't trust anyone, really.
I don't trust anyone.
Yeah, it's just easier, isn't it? But yeah, so it's been an awesome show. Thank you so much for coming on. Obviously,
Thank
guys,
you.
listening or watching, we will put your links to your Facebook and that in the comments and stuff, so
Okay.
people check you out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what we got coming up now, we are, after you've heard this.
well, we're not doing another one with this one.
Yeah, that dog we're not doing that. But yeah, we're gonna have our new video will be on probably before this is airing, probably. So if you listen to this, check out our YouTube. We'll have a new video of a new investigation with the doll that was on here.
Awesome.
And then see next Friday we're live again at 8 p.m. But yeah, so thank you for listening and watching, guys. Indigo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Been awesome, and we'll catch you later, guys.
Stay spooky.